There's no place like the Cube. Family, it's your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment. You know, every week I gotta give you a little update about what's going on in my life. This past week, y'all, I was at home. Felt so good. I've been celebrating my wife's birthday. We did a little getaway in Milwaukee, just got away for a little bit from the house and the duties and all the to-dos. It was so lovely. We even made lip balm, y'all. And then came back home, celebrated with the family, celebrated with friends. It's been great feeling grounded back at home. Now let's jump into this episode, because if you do enjoy it, I would love for you to think about joining the QCrew. The QCrew is our queer news community. Your recurring monthly donations help to supplement the costs of this pod, the hosting, the editing, the marketing, the PR, the travel, you know? So if you believe in the work we do, if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, if you love and respect how I report on the news and tell our stories, join the QCrew. I share these little personal tidbits in an unedited video that they receive every single week, along with an email of our top queer news stories. So come on and join us. A link is in the show notes. Now for the news. 3 Black trans women have been murdered in the last 2 weeks. We speak their names today: Aina, London, and Lisa. Newark, New Jersey remembers Sakia Gunn by naming a street in her honor. Professional sports has its first out non-binary referee, and the Queer News tip line came through with an entertainment story about the Thailand hit Moonlight Chicken. Let's go.
You are now tuned in to higher frequencies. We do this frequently. Turn your radio station to E3 for that decency. Listen to great music and the latest movement. Safe listening for anyone that's tuned in. Who you waking up to? Anna DeShawn, QCrew and friends. It's that real talk. Online radio with the spins. You caught up in traffic, frustrated. Just check in with E3 to shift your vibrations and get elevated. That's queer radio done right. Choose to be yourself. That's the only way to live life, and that's how it's done here. Just know y'all tuned in to the greatest. Ain't no competition. We ain't worried about the other stations. Check.
I'm Darren.
And I'm Esther.
And this is Second Sunday, a podcast about Black queer folk finding, keeping, and sometimes losing faith.
This season's full of candid conversations. We're talking to theologians, artists, activists, and community members living at the intersections of faith, spirituality, and identity.
The Saints ain't ready for this,
but we're still going to talk about it.
Second Sunday starts October 4th. Find it wherever you get podcasts.
Second Sunday is a Cube original podcast and is part of the PRX Big Questions Project.
Hey, I'm Anna.
And I'm Adele.
And this is the Head Nod, Season 1, Black Life at a PWI.
It's an unfiltered take on Black life in predominantly white spaces.
In the process, we learned some things. Ooh, especially that music, Chile.
Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Our top queer news story today is heartbreaking, and I want to give you a content warning before proceeding because you may not want to hear all of this today. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to just fast forward, okay? You got it. Now, I must report on 3 more Black trans women being murdered, all this month, all within the last couple of weeks. We speak their names: Aina Roberson, London Price, and Lisa Love. Aina Roberson, 30 years old, on October the 14th was murdered outside of a popular gay sports bar in Washington, D.C. called Nellie's. It's being reported that she was being assaulted and while running away, was chased into the street where she was hit by an oncoming vehicle. The driver of the vehicle stopped and called for help, which honestly, while I was reading this story, gave me some hope in humanity. Last week, her family and friends held a candlelight vigil for her, where over 100 people showed up to pay their respects, one of which was her dad. I found a video of him speaking at the vigil, and he talked about how he loved his daughter and wanted her to be exactly who she wanted to be in the world. That warmed my heart so much because we don't see enough Black men, cis Black men, being outspoken about how much they love and welcome their queer children into their lives. We need more of him. It breaks my heart that this is how I saw him. The DC police do have a person of interest and have posted his pictures online. Aina Roberson, we speak your name today. London Price, 26 years old, was shot and killed in Miami-Dade County. There is footage of a young man running from her home with a gun in hand. And of course, they believe this to be her murderer. Her family is saying they know exactly who that is. It's her ex-boyfriend. A loved one spoke with Local 10 News in Florida and explained that the ex-boyfriend was there because his family threw him out the house when they found out he was dating a trans woman. The loved one said London felt responsible, so that's why he was there with her. Her aunt told reporters that London would give you the shirt off her back, and it seems like that kind spirit may have attracted the wrong person in her life. London Price, we speak your name today. Lisa Love, 35 years old, was shot and killed in Chicago last week. She was leaving a friend's house when it was reported that a car drove up, made a U-turn, saw Lisa, and decided to take her life. Her family does believe she was targeted because the neighborhood knew who she was and knew she was trans. She was literally just walking home. In a phone interview with WGN News, her cousin said Lisa was, quote, an all-around good person who did not deserve this. A loving, caring, free-spirited person, always smiling and laughing. There are currently no persons of interest at this time. Family, 3 Black trans women murdered in the last 2 weeks. There have been 4 this month alone, and according to the Human Rights Campaign, there have been at least 25 trans and gender nonconforming people who have tragically lost their lives this year. Now, this ought not be a surprise, as the anti-trans hate machine, as Amar Jones of Translash coins it, which is a podcast you should absolutely tap into, okay? It has been running rampant for years now. It's not safe. The world is not safe for our trans fans. So it is on us, it is on those who care, to create brave and safe spaces for our trans siblings to find solace and peace. Because the world is a lot, and the world is not keeping them safe. Our next story is a really special one. Do you all remember Sakia Gunn? I remember this story like it was yesterday. She was a 15-year-old masculine-presenting Black lesbian who was murdered in Newark, New Jersey back in 2003. Now, in 2003, y'all, I was an undergrad. I had just come out recently. I was at the beginning stages where everything's a rainbow. Okay, we just so happy to be gay. And I remember hearing about Sakia's story and being shook because she looked like me. She dressed like me. She loved basketball like me. Some men were riding by and hit on her, but she didn't accept their advances. And because of that, they killed her. Her murder ignited a movement in New Jersey. Over 2,500 young queer people showed up at her services to pay their respect. Now, 20 years later, after much advocating by her cousin, Valencia Bailey, who was there that night and held Sakia in her arms, has cemented her cousin's legacy. The street is called Sakia Gunn Way. And Valencia says it's an acknowledgement. It's showing that my cousin's legacy will never die. It'll forever be here. Everyone will know who she is. No matter if you don't know anything about her or her situation, if you walk down the street and you see that sign, you get online and everything's out there. Family, there is a podcast available right now too about Sakia called after Broad and Market. And I want to do a special feature about her story because more people should know her name. Yeah. I feel like this is a good time for us to take a quick break. And when we get back, I've got some culture and entertainment news for you, okay? So stay close. If you're hearing this, it means we didn't sell this ad space. If you're hearing this, it means running ads on our podcast actually can work. You see what I did there? You see this real life example? You got an event, do you have an organization, do you got something you need to get the word out about? We got rates starting as low as $100. Check the link in our show notes for more information.
Hello, the world. We are They Will Kill, a true crime podcast. I'm Courtney Eck.
And I'm Sadie Eck, and we are sisters that want to tell you about lesser-known murders.
Our cases are always compelling, maybe even a little scary, with just enough banter to keep it interesting.
You can find us at theywillkill.com.
Or anywhere you listen to podcasts. See you there.
See ya!
Family, welcome back to the podcast. In culture news, Flores has become the first out trans non-binary referee in all of professional sports. Chi is in their second season refereeing for the NBA and recently came out publicly in a profile for GQ Sports. This happened following their coming out to their 70-plus colleagues in the NBA during their annual preseason meetings in September. They said, "This is the first time I'm comfortable expressing myself through my own fashion and not having to worry about it. I feel 100% myself now." Y'all, it's a big deal to make it to the NBA as a ref, and it's reported they are the first person to have worked championship games for the NCAA, G League, and the WNBA. Congratulations, Chi, on paving the way for so many others to live in their truth. In more sports news, you may remember a few weeks ago, I reported about how the National Hockey League decided to ban Pride nights and any other night because a few people didn't want to participate. Well, in a quick change of events, they have decided to reverse part of their decision. Now players can display their pride by putting pride tape or other displays of LGBTQ love and support on the ice. The NHL said, after consultation with the NHL Players Association and the NHL Player Inclusion Coalition, players will now have the option to voluntarily represent social causes with their stick tape throughout the season. Other causes being things like breast cancer awareness or military appreciation, for example. Y'all, it feels like the NHL crumbled under pressure, right? And now they're trying to save face, but in doing so, they're making things so confusing. Our entertainment story for the week is coming from our Queer News tip line. That's right, I started it earlier this month on TikTok because I know there are so many stories that are never reported on. Stories that never make it to a blog, that never make it to mainstream news, and I want to tell those stories. Well, this week, we received a story from Kelly MCP. Kelly dropped me a few notes about a series out of Thailand called Moonlight Chicken. I have never heard of Moonlight Chicken, and this is what I'm talking about. These are the type of stories I want to report on. This episodic series has won Best LGBTQ plus program made in Asia. Y'all, Asia is huge, okay? The story follows queer men navigating love, relationships, queer rights, and disability justice. Of course, the series is in Thai, so I couldn't understand anything. But the music score and production value are top-notch. You can find it on YouTube as it's powered by GMM-TV, and all you need to do is hit the closed captions to dig in. Thanks, Kelly MCP. To close out today's podcast, you know we got to have Anna's Got a Word, because I always got a word. My word today is coming out of my mastermind journal, which y'all all know because I talk about it all the time. Inside the journal, there is an affirmation that says, I have the dedication and persistence needed to create the life I want. I have the dedication and persistence needed to create the life I want. Don't get me wrong, family. Dedication is absolutely needed, but persistence, takes it to another level. The actual definition says firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. See, persistence is that secret sauce because challenges will undoubtedly occur, and there will be times that you will need to stand firm and or be obstinate. It may not feel comfortable, but when you're clear on your goal, there will be some things that are non-negotiable. So tap into that persistent nature of yours and go get what you deserve. It is not easy, but no one ever said it would be. Till next week, family. Peace. If you enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is written and produced by me, Anna DeShawn. Podcast editing by Experience J of Just Listen Media. And brought to you by E3 Radio, your #1 queer radio station playing queer music and reporting on queer news in high rotation.